We have the Miami Marlins. Last year's finish, they won 67 games after being the bottom feeders, the fish with arms, and making the playoffs in 2020, doing the damn thing, winning a series, smoking cigars. Everyone was like, hey, maybe they can do it. And they kind of didn't. 67 and 95, missed the playoffs. I know about the Marlins. I know more about the Marlins than I have in the last 3 years. Since the Yelly, Stanton situation, because they have a lot of fun guys. Got a marketable team that loses too many games. Jake, can you tell me some new faces and old?
Yeah, pay attention.
I will.
They lost the catcher, Jorge Alfaro.
Yeah.
Fine. Joe Panic. Don't panic. He's gone. Lewis Brinson, outfielder. He gone. Zach Thompson. Threw the pill for them a little bit last year. He's a pie rat now. Tough for Zach Thompson. Anyways, who they added? How about two outfielders? Jorge Solaire and Avisail Garcia. Boogity, boogity, boogie. Miami, South Beach. That's what I'm talking about. Joey Wendell. Oh, Joey Wendell. He'll be playing some utility. Jacob Stallings. Jim, I mentioned there's a catcher out. There's a catcher in. Gold glove Stalling. Show him. Look at that flick of that wrist. And Lewis Head might throw some innings this year. But they addressed some of their offensive needs. A couple outfielders, Joey Wendell, and a catcher. So they made their plan of attack. It just wasn't enough for Jeets to stay around because Jeets probably want a little more to support this young stud. I mean, this is a Trevor Plouffe pitching staff right here.
I'm looking at it, and I'm wondering what the hell were they thinking during the offseason? You got these arms? And these aren't really household names, but I think after this year, they might be household names. Sandy Alcantara, Pablo Lopez, Trevor Rogers. Go look at the stats from last year and tell me your team wouldn't want these guys heading your rotation. Okay, behind him, Elisa Hernandez, Jesus Luzardo. He was the crown jewel of the A's for a long time. He's got electric stuff. Sixto Sanchez behind him. This is depth. This is quality. And we knew these fish could pitch, but when you really start to look at it, my goodness. Move into the bullpen. We got Dylan Floro, Anthony Bender, Anthony Bass. Who else do we got? My page just froze. Doesn't matter.
The way you hit Bass.
And Richard Blyer.
Awesome. Say Anthony Bass again.
Zachy Pop.
Anthony Bass.
They got Zachy Pop.
Richard Blyer.
Dick Blyer, BBD's guy.
Look, they can pitch, dude.
Yeah.
They can
Jimmy.
pitch. Yeah.
Can they hit, though?
You know what? I mean, they got some guys in the lineup. Last year, the Marlins were so good at being just below average. Like, if you look at their final stats, all their offensive players, it was like, you can have three of those on your team if they're great with the glove, but they kind of have like a lot of those guys. Anyway, they got the young stud Jazz Chisholm Jr. They brought in Jorge Solaire, 3-year deal. Garrett Coop-a-Loop.
Yeah. How about him?
He's there. I mean, his numbers were good last year. Did he get hurt and play a few less games or something? Yeah, he got hurt halfway through the year, but his numbers were good when he was there. He's a gap-to-gap guy. Avisail Garcia, they picked him up as a free agent. Jesus Sanchez, Jesus Aguilar, Brian Anderson, Jacob Stallings. Jake told you about that. And then our friend of the program, Miggy Rowe. Also, Joey Wendell, who right now is listed on the bench, but I think he's going to get a lot of run. I don't think he's going to be an everyday guy just roaming. So they have him on the bench right now. Trev, what you said about this team, this Marlins team, and you said they have that pitching. Why didn't they go have an offseason? They did, but they're a little bit like the Rangers. They're like, hey, the Mets and the Phillies and the Braves are going bananas right now. We got these guys locked up. Luzardo, they got him through 2026. Trevor Rogers through 2026. Some of the other pitchers, I think the same thing. Alcantara signed him up through 2026. So it's more like the Rangers story where they're like, we got a window. It's not closing. We're trying to open it, but they're waiting out. Because the guys they did sign, Garcia, he's locked up for 4 years. Solaire, 3-year deal, right? Miggy Rowe's got 2 left. So I don't I don't think the urgency is crazy high. And I think it's actually smart. I think it's smart that they're like, if we're going to get a guy that we like, let's get him for a couple years because this first one might be tough. But we can keep adding and adding and adding as we go.
I mean, you could say that, James, but where are these teams going? I mean, maybe the Phillies window is here and gone.
Look at the Nats, Trev. They won the World Series. The Nats, they signed their guys. They signed Patrick Corbin. They went out and got guys. They had Trey Turner and Scherzer, and where's their window? They won the World Series. Done. I mean, the Phillies, the Braves, the Mets, they could win their
World. The Braves have everyone locked up too.
I know.
The Mets have everyone locked up.
But the guys I named could have been locked up. I'm just saying windows close immediately sometimes. So,
I don't know, man. I just think the waiting around to make moves isn't always the best thing to do because there are some really good organizations that are in their division that are going to keep going. It's Uncle Stevie's going to continue to spend money. Okay? They might not draft and develop, so he's going to be there. The Braves are an excellently run organization. They have those guys locked up for the foreseeable future. Sure, like maybe fine. Wait this offseason. If this happens again next offseason, I'm going to be pissed.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily applauding it. I'm just trying to figure out what they might be doing. And if they signed Garcia and Solaire to 1-year deals, I would be the opposite of applauding. I'd be like, this is dumb. But I like that they kind of locked them up and said, let's build a team here.
There's a 2-year plan, and I think there's a 5-year plan or 4-year plan. I think that's kind of what you're alluding to. I think they want to find out now. Like, we got to find out who these guys are. Alcantara. I know I heard Miggy Rowe say it differently on the Chris Rose rotation today. That's throwing me off.
They just speed it up so fast that I can't actually figure out. I watched a video of him saying his own name 20 times in a row. I think it's Alcantara, but it sounds like Alcantara to us.
I mean, and he actually has an option for 2027, and they're going to be paying him real money there, or is he gone? Like, honestly, the Marlins right now are a victim of their division, man. And, we do some East Coast bias stuff here. If the Marlins and Orioles swap spots, the Marlins would be slated for last place in the AL East. And it's tough because they are going up against some cash cows. You're right, Uncle Stevie, where do they end up landing? They seem to have a budget and they want to be New York. Jimmy is right with the windows. Stuff does happen fast. You could easily be looking at a Phillies or Mets team in a year or two that it's holy smokes, what happened? We could also be looking at them contending or being really good teams because they do have money that the Marlins just don't have to operate. If, the Marlins estimated payroll for this year is $84 million, which, hey, again, good for the Marlins. Compared to the Guardians and a couple of these other teams, good for you. You're trying to put a product on the field. I appreciate that.
I have it as 112.
I'm on Fangraphs. I don't know. It says estimated 2022 payroll 84 for this year.
Luxury tax payroll 112.
Estimated luxury tax. That's that's in there too. So either way, if you could get this team, 2 arms in the bullpen that were paid $6 million a year. If you could get this team one more impact bat, how many times did I yell about Castellanos? One more impact bat in the middle of this lineup, and they just don't. And they're going up against these teams. We're going to talk about the Phillies in a little bit. My goodness. They're taking a chance on a Jorge Solaire. Jorge Solaire was so bad with the Kansas City Royals. He was solid with the Braves, and then he had the postseason of a lifetime. So, what Jorge Solaire are you getting? Are you getting the guy that can hit you 45 ding-dongs in a season? Or are you getting a guy that could end up on Slump Watch this year? Who just got excited saying that a little bit.
Slump Watch!
But those are the chances that the Marlins have to take. And, let's be honest. If the Marlins click this year, could they catch one of those teams if something goes south? Yeah, it's baseball, but they're not jumping all 3 of them. They just can't. They can't even jump 2 of them. So it's a brutal spot. Brutal spot.
You need an impact bat. I'm looking through the free agents that are going to be available next year. There's no one that really fits for them. They're not going to go sign a Xander Bogaerts. They're not going to do that. A lot of the other guys that are free agents that you would like they're kind of old. They're older. They don't fit what they need necessarily. So I think for them, it could be a trade. Like they have depth, pitching depth. And guess what? Every single team in the big leagues wants pitchers. So maybe that's the move that they make. I like this team, but yeah, I mean, going from
I think it's a fun watch.
This, what a big jump. And then I think when we see maybe the other rosters, specifically the Braves and the Mets and the Phillies, I think we're going to see a little bit of a jump. But definitely like a fun watch. And there's some magic, Jake, and you're saying there is a world where these guys can shake things up and be competing for a wild card spot.
We didn't even talk about Sixto, or did we?
He got mentioned.
We did.
He's shoulder. I think they're waiting a month or something like that to see what he's got going on.
Yeah. But I mean, if he comes back and the window thing and Jimmy Yacobonis.
Hey.
Oh.
Jimmy Yacobonis. I've got a question.
Yeah, we're almost at the time.
Could this team finish second?
No.
In the AL Central.
Oh.
Yeah, they have a chance.
Yeah. I like them. They
have the second best pitching in the division.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where, I think in a couple years we're going to be talking about 2 more teams in baseball and some realignment. Unfortunately, if you just add the AL East, the Marlins still get screwed a little bit. But this is a good ball team. They're in the wrong division.
Would you guys rather have this pitching staff or the Yankees pitching staff?
Cole's a good headliner.
When you include, are you doing just starting pitching or bullpen too? Because this bullpen doesn't have. I was
talking starting pitching, but I mean, I guess we could do both.
I mean,
Cole's the
difference maker.
X factor here.
Yeah.
But I don't know who I choose. Like that's a legitimate question from me.
There's just so much deeper. I think I still don't know if they're all certainties.
Right. If I had one more year of Sandy Alcantara being,
I think he's established himself enough.
I think so, but I just don't know like where's the him and Cole gap. You know what I'm saying? Like Garrett Cole, you kind of lock in. He's going to be like a top 5 Cy Young guy. I don't know if Alcantara has a step back or does he take a step up? If he takes a step up, I think there's an easy argument for the Fish. Like my guy Trevor Rogers, another Jakey stumbled into pig shit last year. He was awesome.
Yeah, it's a pretty tough call, Trev, but there's some guys on the Yankees like Tyone and Monty who I feel pretty comfortable in what we're going to get from them. And there's something about comfort over, like these guys have a much better high end. Like I'm not doubting that at all. But because Cole and comfort, if Cole wasn't there, yes, absolutely. It's almost like Cole and comfort versus 3 better. Cole's really good. He's top 5 pitcher. So
yeah, Sandy, if you go by ERA, he's a 3.49. Cole's a 3.2 guy. So that's a sizable gap right there. That's a difference right there. And then 1.21 ERA plus for Sandy and 1.29 ERA plus for Cole. And those are like, they don't seem like massive jumps, but that's the difference between a really good pitcher and an elite pitcher.
Top 30 and top 5.
Trevor Rogers last year, 25 starts, a 2.64 ERA. What?
Yeah, Pablo Lopez had a good year as well.
I'm going to answer my own question. I take the Marlins staff.
I mean, if I'm not a Yankees fan, I think I'm going to say that, but I have ties to my guys.
Yeah.
It's tough.
I think it's a fun conversation,
I got
Trev.
it.
Yeah.
Really good stuff, dude.
Over under
is 76.5.
That's a great line.
The question here is, do you think one of the Phillies, Mets, or Braves will fall apart? Which sometimes we've been banking on that. But usually it was with the Nats in there, and the Nats fell apart hard. I don't know, and we'll get to them in the next 3 episodes, next 3 conversations. I don't know if I have the Phillies or Mets or Braves falling apart this year. Out of all the last 3 years, I kind of think all of them might be really good, which means that I got to take the under one.
It's a great line.
I'm taking the over. I'm rooting for our guy, Miguel Rojas.
Always rooting for Miggy Rowe.
I'm just saying, I like the pitching staff. I think it's going to keep them in games. And maybe they'll just hit enough. It's going to be a lot of close games. So,
who does the NL East play this year? Do they play the AL Central?
Think so.
Yes. No. NL Central plays the AL East. We know that.
You telling me they got Dodgers, Giants? Obviously, they have Dodgers, Giants. It's the National League, Jimmy, you bozo.
Mm-hmm.
I am taking the over still, no matter who they play.
Okay. Jake?
Under. I don't. Over. 77 wins. 77 wins. Come on, Miami.
They play the AL West. So Astros.
Come on.
It means we get Marlins, Seattle, Mariners, Marlins series. That always piques my interest.
A little bit.
Yeah. Two different sides of the ocean.
A little bit you did. A little bit.
You know, cold fishermen versus hot fishermen.
I got one.
Mariners catch Marlins.
Game over or under 500 for the team. So either way, we're over.
Oh, so you're going 5. I have them at 76 or 77 wins. I think Vegas, if I could bet
80 wins.
If I could bet both like that window, I absolutely would. And not even like Jakey jokes like throw it on green. Like they've pegged this. Vegas knows what they're doing.
In all aspects. Who'd you vote for? I loved when we ended shows like that. That's the end of this one. We're going to go on to the next one. And the next team